Airbnb is a game changer for new real estate investors. You can now buy or rent an apartment or property and charge a daily rate to make a profit. Now, if you're a new real estate investor and you're looking to start an Airbnb business, make sure you stay tuned because I'm about to give you 3 tips on how you can start your business today. Let's get it. What's up, y'all? My name is Tavonte Howard, real estate broker with EXP Realty and an investor here in Chicago. My goal for this channel is to show you how you can build wealth through real estate. So if you like these strategies, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification buttons. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. So before we get into the tips, I want to give you a background. My wife and I just acquired an Airbnb. We had it for about 2 months now. In the process, we've seen a lot of challenges and we also made some mistakes. So the purpose of this video is to make sure that you don't go through those same mistakes also. So tip number 1, before you do anything, and I say anything, make sure you look up your local laws regarding home sharing or Airbnb. For example, here in Chicago, you have to have a registration number before you post on any of those sites like Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, okay? Now, me and my wife, we already knew about the registration number, but one thing we did not know is how long it would take to actually get this registration number. So we acquired the property first, then we tried to apply for the registration number. In reality, we should have did it the other way around, simply because it took us almost 2 months just to get the registration number, so we had to come out of pocket, and yet we have not had one person to actually get into the property. So tip number 1, make sure you abide by any of your state or city regulations. Tip number 2, research the property that you plan on Airbnb in before you acquire. And the reason I say that is because my wife and I, when we did our research for our property, we found out that if we rent this unit out, we can rent it out at a really high amount, and we also can rent it out for at least 21 days throughout the month. So by us doing our research on the property, we was able to pretty much predict exactly how much we'll make before we even acquired the property. So before you even acquire a property, make sure you do your research on it. Don't just go to the best neighborhood and be like, okay, it's a good neighborhood, it's gonna book out. And that's not the case. In fact, some of the neighborhoods that you think won't book out will be some of the best neighborhoods. Depends on where it's located and how close it is to shopping malls or anything like that. So here in Chicago, the one that we have is really close to the lake. Now, it's probably not the best neighborhood, it is an upcoming neighborhood, but at the same time, the block is good. Also, the daily rates was like $400. Also, they had a lot of reviews, so look at the reviews. If the average listing on Airbnb only have 2 or 3 reviews, that means it's not booking out a lot. But say it have like 40 reviews, in our case, it was like at least 6 of them that had like 40 reviews. It's like, okay, that's obviously renting out to the point where they're getting a lot of reviews. So do your research. Now, before we move on to tip number 3, make sure you watch the end of this video because I'm gonna give you a bonus tip on how you can see exactly how many days throughout the month that every Airbnb in the area that you're looking in is booking out for. Now that we got that settled, let's move on to tip number 3. All right, so tip number 3, get the property. Okay, there's 2 ways you can get a property to Airbnb. You could buy it the traditional way, or you can rent it out from a landlord the not so traditional way. It takes a little bit more work, but it can be done. And in fact, my wife and I, this is exactly the way we did it, and I can teach you how to do this in another video. Make sure you like and subscribe. But back to what I was saying, it's pros and cons for both sides. For example, if you rent from a landlord, the pro is you don't have to put as much money down. The con is not a lot of landlords allow you to Airbnb. So you do have to make sure your landlord knows that you're going to Airbnb and have it in writing also. Now, the way you do this, you will have to reach out to a lot of landlords, okay? In another video, I'm gonna break this down exactly how you can do it, but for the sake of time, you do have to reach out to a lot of landlords to actually find someone that's open to letting you Airbnb. Now let's go to the other side. If you buy it, you might have to put a little bit more money down. The pro is you don't have to report to a landlord to Airbnb, you can just host it. Now we're going to go to the bonus tip. Now the bonus tip is when you go on Airbnb, right? Let's say you're looking at a listing, right? And this listing is close to the area that you plan on purchasing or renting your Airbnb. When you go on that listing, act as if you are finna book it out. And when they say the dates that you want to book it out, X out the recommended dates that they already have in and click on the calendar. Now, if you go on this calendar, it's going to show exactly how many days this particular Airbnb is being booked out. Let's say if you want to do the month of September, it should show you the days that's available for you to rent out. And it's going to also show you the days that's not available. So those days that's not available, more than likely they already are booked out. Let's say you go to the next month. Let's say you go to October, right? And you look and say, okay, I want to book out from October 1st to October 3rd, right? And it say that those days are available, but it have the 4th all the way to the 30th with X's on it. That means that it's booking out for all of those days. So you do that for the 3 months ahead, and then you see the average of how many days that is being booked out. And then at that point, you can know your monthly average on how many days it's going to book out. Now, I might not say that the best way, but hey, it is what it is. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. And if you are new investors, you got any tips on real estate investing or Airbnb investing, make sure you leave a comment, because I'm a new investor when it comes down to Airbnb. I just want to share my tips that I noticed, and let's get it.